Alright. We're back and shit's about to hit the fan. So, we're going to... Jesus Christ. I'm going to attempt to load this flight in midair. Well, not attempt. It's going to work. I did it yesterday. But I am going to... Shit's going to be blaring at me, and I'm going to have to fix it all. Then, we're going to reconnect to the VATSIM network and hopefully finish our flight to Budapest. But I'm not going to connect to it until we've got this plane under control. Because what happens is the... let's see, what was the main thing that was wrong with it? The parking brake was on, and the whatchamacallit, the autopilot is basically disengaged, and the plane was in a very steep upwards pitch. But that's okay, we'll fix that, then we'll file the plan, we'll hook up all the monitoring stuff at the top of the stream and all that jazz. But let's focus on the flight first. Then we're going to have to reload the flight plan and see what fun things go wrong with that. So we'll do one thing at a time here. We'll have to reset our squawk code and radio frequencies as well, as I can just tell there. Alright, let's see. Okay, so first of all, let's level this puppy out. Standard this. Okay. We do have flight director. Okay, the first thing we need, again, is auto throttle. Because that was... AP1 is on heading. Okay, so we've got heading and we've got altitude. We don't quite have altitude yet. Let's set it real quick. Speed is... fucked. There we go. That was the other thing. Parking brake. This is just the thing. There we go. Okay, so ECAM is clear. Get my lights going again here so I can see a little bit more. I don't know what's wrong with this display, but clearly something. Okay, we should be getting back up to a proper speed. We'll stay on heading for now. I have not yet got the altitude. Okay, we'll get the selected altitude going because it doesn't have a flight plan. Okay, there's the standby display, good. Let's just make sure these are all set correctly. Thought I had a flashlight, but I guess not. But everything up there looks okay, I think. Altitude, speed, heading. Let me get my transponder set back to 1200 and the frequency back to the Unicom frequency. Let me just check down here. We are on auto TRA. Okay, so that's all good. Flaps, everything here is looking fine. Let me get the flight plan in here and see if we can get the flight plan loaded back into the airplane here before we even get back onto VATSIM. Actually, one thing I can do is I can connect this and I can fire up that. So we have moving maps there for flight. We're back. Okay, good. We're basically flying in a straight line for a while, so we've got some time to sort this out if need be. Which is great. So that's actually strobe light off. Strange. Okay, let's actually double check all the lights here real quick. Not that that's a big deal right now. Nav lights are on. Landing lights are all off. Strobes are on. Beacons on. Okay, that's all good. Seatbelts are off at the moment, which they should be because we are at cruise. And emergency lights are armed. Emergency exit lights are armed. Okay. Everything there is looking good. So I think we're actually set now. We just need to now get our flight plan back in. Let's, we even still have our METAR from yesterday. We'll probably, well, we're going to refresh that before we get close to our destination anyways. Let me see if I can get our data back in here. Oh, this is interesting. They changed this? Huh. Oh, it's all good here. And we have our flight plan. It is actually, does it actually have the right waypoint in it? It does. It actually knows Laguerre is our next waypoint. That's amazing. Okay, I was convinced that we were going to have to do some sort of direct to. So if I do managed heading now, that should put us into nav mode. And it's just going to make a small adjustment. Speed, altitude, cruise. Alright. You know what? That was actually surprisingly painless. Surprisingly painless. Okay. Good. Let me get these numbers at the top of the stream. With Y declined, FS98 eliminator, one of 85 million tools that I have to use to do what I want to do. My choice though. We'll get music going now that we're actually kind of flying. We're doing okay. feel like the speed should actually say Mach instead of speed, so I don't know if that's if something's gone wonky with that or not. I don't think so, but I also feel less certain about that. Okay, track error working good. This actually looks really nice with those lights on. Okay, now let me see if I can get us back on the VATSIM network. Actually, before I do, I wanted to see if there's any... Oh, there's actually a center there. I don't think we're near that just yet. We might actually fly through that center. Yeah, actually I don't... I think that's the Bulgarian center. I don't think we'll actually be flying through that. Okay, there we are. We might graze it? Boy, that's really hard to say. Flight plan not found. Okay, let's file it again. Had to refile the flight plan. Let's see if it shows up now. Probably needs a minute. It's really hard to say if we're actually going to enter that center or not. Wish I could get this on here. Is that the border? I think this is actually the outlines of the center regions. Yeah. So according to ForeFlight, we're actually just going to miss it. So then that means we probably don't have to worry about contacting that center, which is kind of convenient. All right, there's my flight plan now filed. Do we still have this nasty headwind? Yeah, we do. 30 miles an hour, 30 knots. It was worse yesterday. Let me get this frequency in the standby anyways. Actually, I really wish I could get it into the second comm. One 31220. I wonder if we can listen on the second comm without transmitting them. So I wouldn't mind like listening in. Doesn't look like it. Can I select VHS 2 over on that side? Oh, it is on VHF 2. Okay. It is on. But I don't think vPilot actually lets me listen to. I'll have to actually look into that at some point. I would love to be able to listen to the second frequency on the second radio, just to hear things. Maybe we should take this quiet time to get our star and arrival put into the MCDU. See, it's got this fucked up arrival where we're flying the stupid S curve, but that's literally, like, that's what it is. I'm actually, I'm probably just going to go direct without that star. Yeah, maybe we'll fly it. Screw it, maybe we'll fly it, but let's see if we can get this dialed in here. Arrival. We are planning to arrive. Could you go out of the way for a moment there? 31 right, Nikra, Keza 2H. ILS 31 right. Keza 2H is not in here. Fuck me. That's because it's not the right runway. Did I click on the wrong thing? I must have. 31 right. Keza 2H. Nikra. Insert. Okay, did not change anything in our current flight plan. Good. Nikra at 4,000. That's weird. I feel like there are some weird numbers in there. Oh, no, that's fine. Okay. Alright. That should be all good then. Let me go save the charts for that. Chart. Pin it. That's for the actual approach. So it's a pretty straightforward approach. We'll configure for that approach later. We can put 543 in as the minimums. Since I'm here, our star chart, does this give us a transition altitude? Transition level by ATC, but I'm looking for the transition altitude. All right. Okay, so that's one thing. We'll come back to this. Actually, well, we can kind of grab it from the... No, we'll grab it from the MCDU. Let's get a new weather report requested. So that we can configure that. While we wait for that, I want to look into this top of descent thing that I discovered. So find on page. It's already... This is what I'm looking for, this TOD. And we are... I'm gonna put it in there somewhere now. I've fucking forgotten. Okay, never mind. We'll deal with that next time. Let's go print out our new METAR report. QNH 1015. Temperature 27. It is warm. Wind 040 at 6 knots. Transition altitude I don't have on here. Okay. That's looking good. Let's keep going now. Well, we slowly start seeing land. We've been flying over the Black Sea so long. There's actually the coast of... I don't even know what country that is. But there's land ahead and some light, even though we're gonna... It's gonna just be a night flight all the way through. Not an exciting video to watch later, but that's okay. Let's see if I can listen into that other center. Yeah, that's barely able to understand that. It's not a bad idea to do it by text, though, like these guys are doing. If it's difficult to understand accents, you can just type it in, I guess. Even though I'm not really set up for that. Fun to listen to, though. I gotta find a way to put my keyboard down here somewhere so that I could actually type that stuff in if I needed to. Hey, Wingman, wow, it has been many, many years. You're the second blast from the past after BJ started hanging out a bit in my chat whenever I go flying here, so how are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Good to hear. Still gaming on the old Xbox. Oh yeah, it's supposed to come out. This game is great, man. I'm really curious how it's gonna play on the Xbox. It's a bit of a beast on PC, but there's actually a lot of us on PC that are hoping to see some performance improvements when it gets onto the Xbox. We're all hoping for DirectX 12 support to come alongside that. So I love this game. It is it is such a cool experience to me. I haven't picked up the new Xbox yet, because the one thing I really love about Microsoft lately is that pretty much all the Xbox games are coming out on PC at the same time, which is great for me because that means I don't have to get an Xbox just for, you know, a handful of games. So I love that. So I've just been running with my PS5, which is just collecting dust most of the time and playing mostly on PC. Oh man, I will say this, like, if I was, say, just getting into games or something like that and I had nothing yet and I had to decide between whether I'm getting a PC or a console or like a PS5 or an Xbox, that Game Pass, for somebody that's starting from scratch, that Game Pass stuff is amazing value. Heck, even for people who already have games. Like, I bought Flight Simulator because I bought the premium edition, but that this is part of the Game Pass. Game Pass is great. I don't play a lot of games on it, so I've let it lapse at the moment, but it's like there's nothing else like it. There's nothing else that provides the same kind of value. It's really cool. I haven't played a Battlefield game in a long time. I think the last time I played a little bit of the story in Battlefield 5, I think. But not much beyond that. I have some friends that are very excited about Battlefield 2042. I read the rumor on PC Gamer yesterday. I don't know if I'm super stoked for it because I'm not good at those games anymore. So we'll see. This is probably one of those games that I'll pick up on like EA Play or whatever the thing is that I'll pay like, you know, $9 for, and I'll give it a try and I'll see what it's like. But I don't know. I feel like I've outgrown those games a little bit, partially because I'm just not into the whole competition of it anymore. I prefer a little bit more relaxed experiences or co-op experiences. So. Having said that, though, I don't think I can not check out the new Battlefield game whenever it comes out. But, I mean, the last Battlefield game I really was sort of excited about or played a lot was Battlefield 4. I played a little bit of Battlefield 1. I think I played the campaign there. And I think maybe a little bit of Battlefield 5. That's it. This VATSIM stuff, these are real human beings doing air traffic control. It makes me so nervous about it, but I do like hearing other people sometimes struggle with stuff. And it's a bit rough in Europe here because, as you can hear, everybody's got, you know, fairly heavy accents, especially over here in Eastern Europe. I have not yet played Minecraft Dungeons. I really wanted to. But I haven't got around to it, or I should say I haven't convinced any of my friends to try it out. I play with some curmudgeons, man. Most of my gaming buddies are all very cranky, grumpy people. Not unlike myself. But so we tend to have a hard time picking up new stuff. We get kind of set in our ways, you know. And we just kind of we do our own thing, and it's sometimes it's a little bit difficult to get into some new stuff. But I thought it looked good. I mean, I kind of like dungeon crawlers like that, and I love Minecraft. I haven't played it in a minute, but I do love it. Are you looking forward to any big announcements at E3 this weekend from Microsoft and Bethesda? Maybe hoping to see something from that new, what is it, Starfield? Like Skyrim in the future? Or something like that? Oh, this is, it is kind of crazy. Yeah, there's also a joystick, an Airbus flight stick over on my left here. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there from Logitech, Honeycomb, some cool stuff. I really like it because I like having the tactile feel of actually being able to turn a dial to switch frequencies and all that stuff, and program in altitudes and speeds, and it's actually super helpful because a lot of times when you're taking off or landing, you have to do a bunch of things all at once, and it can be a little cumbersome using a mouse to find the right click spot in the cockpit and then spin the mouse wheel, and like bad things happen if you get the wrong thing going. So I'm really curious how they're going to handle controls on the Xbox, though I guess the PC version also supports an Xbox One controller as an input device. I'm not sure how people, I don't know how, like, for example, like how would I spin this dial with with a controller? Do I have to like move the mouse like a cursor over there? And I don't know, seems awkward. So you'll have to let me know when it comes out on Xbox and you get a chance to play it there, how the controls are. Ooh, a Splinter Cell announced. That would be something, yeah. It's been a while since we had any kind of Splinter Cell stuff. Usually the Ubisoft stuff is fairly interesting, so I don't know what they've got coming down the pipe. Obviously that Rainbow Six Extraction game, maybe some more Far Cry 6 stuff. But yeah, a Splinter Cell game would be nice. Maybe the next Assassin's Creed. Even though I haven't finished Valhalla yet. But so many games, so little time. I don't usually get to play games at this time of day either. I'm on vacation for 2 weeks here, which is why I'm trying to get as much of my time there. I played Far Cry 5, and it was alright. The only thing I liked about that game recently is that they had co-op. I would love to see them add co-op to like an Assassin's Creed or a Splinter Cell co-op game. Oh, I also really enjoyed the Ghost Recon games when they were, you know... Wildlands was better than Breakpoint, I think, or at least I enjoyed it more. You'd have to think that they must do a Splinter Cell co-op. Like, if they're doing Splinter Cell, they gotta have co-op. They've done it before, I think. So you'd think that they would do that again. Breakpoint was just, it's in that weird near future scenario. That's kind of what Battlefield 2042 is aiming at too, where it's like, it's not full-on futuristic, but it's also not current time, so it's a little bit of an odd one. I play a lot of this and then Destiny 2. Those are like my main two games these days. And I do the occasional truck sim still, and some F1 racing I've gotten into lately. So that's kind of my gaming right now. I don't know, it would really take something like replacing this game or Destiny 2 for me to actually have time to play something else. I have maybe time for one other game to sneak in every once in a while. So, you know, it's not, there's not a whole lot of free time. Actually, there's plenty of free time. It's already all booked up with these games. Sounds good. Thank you, Rumpa. Good morning. Good afternoon, I guess, for you. All right, wingman. Take it easy. Talk to you soon. Good to hear from you. Take care. Rumpo, I got about 45 minutes or so until I'm done with this flight, I think, and then I'll probably hop over onto Destiny to do that the weekly quest. I understand there's nothing earth-shattering from what I saw briefly on Twitter. And hopefully we can get a raid in this afternoon, or this evening. That might be kind of fun. It's kind of pretty painless to bang out this time, even though we can't use that trick with the whatchamacallits that you guys were using. Alright, let's start our descent down to 10,000. We don't have ATC coverage, so we're going to do this ourselves. Maybe we should wait a little bit. How much between DGET and Kazal? 58. Okay. We'll fly at 30 until the next waypoint, and then we'll descend down to 10. That's probably enough. I always descend way too early. Slowly starting our arrival here. ZIB Ibiza, that's quite a ways away. Oh God, maybe it's not that. Must be something else. Must be closer, clearly. We do have our super wonky star where we fly a nice zigzag pattern. I wish I could send messages to vPilot from my iPad. Okay, well, there's nobody else at that airport at the moment, so we probably don't even need to announce any of our intentions. No, I probably will just for the practice of it. Because I think it's cool. I mean, this tech stuff is like, meh. That's nice, I guess. But I'd rather hear people on the radio saying what they're doing. I really wonder how well the autopilot is going to pull off this arrival. Laughing. Thanks for following. Welcome to my little flight channel. Thank you. Who are you? Who is this? Oh, did you? Okay, cool. Yeah, it's funny. The Battlefield podcast still brings in a few people every once in a while. It's been so long. But there's rumors of a new Battlefield being announced just later this week at E3 or somewhere around that. So maybe the Battlefield podcast makes a return. Who the hell knows if that game is any good, whatever that game is going to be. I guess we will see. Well, thanks for stopping by. I'm about to land in Budapest in the middle of the night. Yeah, I haven't played Battlefield really since Battlefield 4. Played a bit of Battlefield 1, played a tiny bit of Battlefield 5. Haven't really played any of the multiplayer. It's just not my thing. It's not my speed anymore. I'm too old, man. Too old. Now I just spend all my time building this kind of stuff and playing these things. I enjoy it a lot more. It's a different kind of stress sometimes, but it's a lot more relaxing in between. And I don't feel like I have to constantly bitch about frames and netcode and lag and glitches and cheaters and hackers and just poor performance. And frankly, my reaction time has probably gone down a wee bit since my Battlefield 3 days, so I find this a lot more enjoyable. Having said that, though, I was pretty disappointed by the past few Battlefield games. They always looked really nice, but they were just not that interesting, so maybe there'll be something interesting in the next one. But I'm not, yeah, I'm not going to bet the farm on it being any good, but... So here we see this weird arrival that we're going to have to fly. We go up, and then we actually come back down, and then we turn around, and we do this big S thing. We're going to get all the passengers on board a little bit seasick. They'll be happy when they're out of the plane. We have, let's see, we're going to need to go another 6, so we really only need like 18 nautical miles for the last bit of our... We can pretty much wait till we get to the top of the turn up there before we need to descend down. Ah, so that's, yeah, that's the other option that you can go, is the more realistic hardcore stuff. I never got into those as much, though I do remember Squad quite fondly. That was a pretty good game. Landing lights on. I'm going to switch to the local QNH. We'll continue our approach. Postscriptum, I have never heard of that game though. That one's new to me. World War II shooter, okay. Gotcha. The only thing that's somewhat close to a shooter that I play these days is Destiny 2, but it's not really in the same vein. It's more of a co-op fun experience for the most part. A bit grindy, but... Oh, it's a sister game of Squad. Okay. Interesting. I have not paid attention to Squad ever since the very beginning of their development when I think we interviewed them on the podcast. But I haven't really... I have not kept up since then. But the fact that you've mentioned it and somebody else mentioned it to me the other day, that seems to indicate that they're having some success, which is good. Because I think they were local to like Vancouver or Seattle area, so... It's always nice to see games like that be successful. Heavy vehicles, commander assets. Oh, well, yeah, no, that's good. I mean, there was always a market for that kind of game out there, so it's nice to see that they seem to have found their niche, which is good. Really would love to just shortcut this approach here. I wonder if it would let me do that. I guess I should fly it as filed, but it wouldn't make sense for me just to go direct to here, which is probably what an actual ATC would give me, but... Oh, veterans can get the game for free. That's neat. That's a nice touch. Oh, it kept the time from my save. Okay, I was just gonna say, like, that doesn't seem like it's accurate. So all that light over there is Budapest. I think those lights over there might actually be our eventual runway. don't feel like that was necessary to share with the group. Thank you. Yeah, well, it's almost maxed out. It's 4K on Ultra. I think I might have one or two tiny things knocked down a bit. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. But it's pretty close to maxed out, if not fully maxed out, yeah. It's a beast. It requires a beast, though. It's a very hungry game. It does look particularly pretty at night. So there's the airport over there. We're going to be landing over there. That runway with the blue lights. It's a very beautiful game, for sure. It is an interesting game. I very much enjoy it. You don't have to learn all the things, you don't have to get all the gear for it, but I like it quite a bit. I did set it to flaps 1, right? Yeah, okay. Localizer and glide slope are armed. Sending to 4,000. Okay, good. The autopilot is doing nice things. That line is all... This green line here is wrong. I don't know why that's shown up there. But it seems to be behaving the way it is supposed to. Oh, now the logo lights are on. Isn't that a nice sight? So quiet when the throttles are on idle. So we're going to hit our next waypoint at 4,000 feet. Then we will descend down to 3,000. And then the glide slope we will capture at 2,500. $3,000, and that's busted there, but we'll do that ourselves. Max 230 knots, yeah, we're well below that speed-wise. Oh yeah, I talk to Scanner on a pretty regular basis actually. We play in a D&D game together every week. We play some Destiny together every once in a while. Yep, he's one of the handful of guys that I still keep in contact with from the Battlefield days. He still shits on things. That hasn't changed. Flaps 2. Yeah, he does actual gaming journalism now. He works for a website called GamePer.com and a couple other places. So I think he kind of cleaned up some of that stuff when he went professional, so to speak. Or he maybe just got rid of it because he was more into some other things, right? Like. So I'm not entirely sure if that content is still out there or not, but yeah, he's
2,500.
moved on to more interesting things.
2,500. 2,500.
Go descend to 2,500, and then we should get lined up here on the... Oh, we've already captured the localizer. That's excellent. Localizer gives us vertical, horizontal navigation, lateral navigation. That's the word I was looking for. Lateral navigation. I don't think we need the radar here. There's not much to see. It's all pretty flat here. There's our runway. We'll see if the autopilot can get itself sort of lined up here. Keep the speed up. Localizer captured. Glide slope armed. Gear down. Ground spoilers armed. One final check to see if there's any aircraft on this at this airport or in the vicinity. Does not look like it, so we don't need to announce anything here. We're good. Just please capture the glide slope. I can fly pretty flawless approaches these days. This thing I have a hard time landing it butter smooth still, so we'll see. Tends to be a bit of a drop. There's the glide slope. Excellent. Now we can go full flaps. Check. I don't know what button it wants me to hit for the cabin check here. There we go. Cabin crew, please take your seat for landing. We're on the glide slope, we're on the localizer, we're on our approach speed. Don't know what that's about. Landing gear down, signs are on, cabin ready, spoilers armed, flaps full, auto brake set to low, 3 green for gears. We're good to go. Autopilot disengaged to come.
1,000.
Feet on my pedals. Landing inhibit. I've seen that before. I don't know what that means. I don't think it matters. I think it just means it cannot land itself, but we're not going to ask it to land itself. So I will land this myself once we get down there, but we're looking really good. 2 red, 2 whites. Pilot disengage my airplane.
Above. 200. Minimum 100. 50, 40, 30, 20. Retard. Retard.
Oh, smooth landing. Well, look at that. Maybe you're good luck. Maybe you are my good luck charm. That is my best landing yet in this aircraft. We're giving it a nice slow rollout because we've got a long runway here to go, so. Beautiful. Don't know where to taxi and there is no ground, so we're just gonna aim for some lights somewhere. Find ourselves, those look like gates over there, so we'll just park at one of the gates and call it good. I should just bring up a chart for this airport, but there's a plane parked there. All right.
And a rider are looking for somebody who brings everything to the table.
We'll take this.
You know, who brings the part.
Got to buzz the tower. Yeah,
And particularly
I always forget that. This is not a great parking spot, but we'll take it anyway.
they're aware of what they're doing and they're making conscious choices.
Parking brake on. Now we'll just shut her down. Get the lights off. Engines off. That off. And we're off. Alrighty. Well, thanks for stopping by, Lawson. I do this pretty regularly, so, you know, do come back. It's nice chatting with you. Hopefully I'll see you again. Have a good rest of your day and week.
Feel like
Catch you later.
floating from the cosmos. You know, just like that's how it came out. Okay, great. Now let's make it better. But you know, just writing from a place of understanding rather than from a place of fear.